Let's jump straight into it. Let's talk about layer 1 versus layer 2 blockchains. Let's give a simple breakdown of how blockchains are scaling for the future, what they are, and how it's going to go ahead and affect how cryptocurrency transactions are dealt with. So, the blockchain trilemma. So to understand the need for layers, we must first understand the blockchain trilemma. So let's talk about decentralization. So the network is distributed across many nodes, preventing a single point of failure or control. So what that pretty much means is once a crypto transaction, is gone ahead and sent from one person, it's going to go ahead and be sent to the other person directly, versus a bank. How a bank is pretty much going to go ahead and work, right? So your money is going to go ahead and be sent, and that notification is then going to go to the bank. The bank is then going to go ahead and approve whether yes or no to go ahead and approve this transaction. Say, for instance, you're trying to do a wire transfer to somebody. If they click no, then the transaction is going to go ahead and go back to your account. So it's going to go to the original sender. But if it is a yes, then the transaction can go ahead and get sent over to the other person. So that's how the bank works. But cryptocurrency, the way that it works is one person, they can just send brand directly to the other person, and everything is run off of the decentralized network. So security. The security is resistant to attacks and manipulation, and scalability. The network can handle a large volume of transactions quickly and affordably. The trilemma states that a blockchain can only achieve 2 of these 3 qualities at any one time without a trade-off. Layered solutions are designed to solve this by focusing on different aspects. So let's talk about what a layer 1 blockchain even is. So layer 1 is the foundational layer, or the main chain itself. It's where all the core action happens. And the core function, it processes and financial transactions and provides the base level of security and decentralization for the entire network. And it relies on its own native consensus mechanism, like proof of work, for Bitcoin, for example, or proof of stake, for Ethereum, for example, to validate transactions. And what proof of work is pretty much going to be to where computers are going to be used in order to mine Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is pretty much being created based off of power. So they exchange power in order to create Bitcoin. But thank God Bitcoin is only a limited resource, so the earth isn't getting destroyed infinitely. So it's only a limited amount of time. So it's kind of like diamonds, virtual diamonds essentially is what it is. So Ethereum came out, proof of staking, and other cryptos which have unlimited resources. So once Bitcoin is extinct, we're going to have a way to continue to trade cryptocurrency without destroying the earth, and you guys are still going to be able to go ahead and invest. So let's talk about some challenges of layer 1. So while layer 1s provide the crucial foundation, they face significant hurdles, primarily due to trilemma. So some scalability issues. So as the network grows, transaction processing can become slow and expensive, especially during times of high demand and when everyone is online. And high gas fees, also known as transaction fees. To incentivize network validators, transaction fees can skyrocket, making small payments or frequent interactions impractical. And on-chain congestion. The limited block space on the main chain leads to a backlog of unconfirmed transactions. So which means longer processing time, which means it's going to take more time for money to be transferred from one person to another. Still going to be the peer-to-peer transaction system. It's just when servers and stuff like that on-chain congestion is occurring, then it's going to take longer in order for transactions to go ahead and get to one person to the other. So some layer 1 scaling solutions. So some layer 1 attempts to scale directly on the main chain through on-chain solutions. So Ethereum switched from proof of work, just like the Bitcoin proof of work we just spoke about, to where computers are exchanging power in order to generate the Bitcoin, from proof of stake. Was a major L1 scaling effort to improve the efficiency. So when we have proof of stake, Ethereum, for example, is going to be a lot easier to trade going forward within the future, since the proof of work is not going to be sufficient for the earth in a long-term scenario. So sharding. This includes splitting the blockchain into smaller, more manageable segments called shards, and this is to process transactions in parallel. and larger block size, increasing the size of each block to fit more transactions, okay? As seen with Bitcoin Cash, for example, this often comes at the cost to decentralization. So let's go and let's talk about what layer 2 blockchain is. So layer 2 is a secondary protocol or network built on a layer 1. So it's built on top of it to help scale it. Okay. And the core function of it is it offloads transactional activity from the main chain. It processes it quickly and cheaply, and then it bundles all up to be finalized on layer 1. And level 2s and layer 2s do not have their own security. They inherit their robust security and decentralization underlying layer 1. And the goal of the layer 2 blockchain is to improve the network scalability without sacrificing its security's decentralization and core security. Okay. So the point of layer 2 is to improve a network scalability and is trying to keep its core security and decentralization effects, okay, which are going to be a big point of why people even trust and trade crypto in the first place. So let's talk about how layer 2s work on the off-chain approach. So think of layer 1 as a busy highway and layer 2s as a fast express lanes. Transactions are moved from the main highway, layer 1, to the express lane. Okay, so the express lane is going to be layer 2. Okay, so think of a highway, for example. Okay, highway, the main highway is going to be layer 1. Okay, and the express lane, okay, on the side is going to be layer 2. And a large number of these transactions are processed at a high speed and low cost. And the results of thousands of transactions are then bundled into a single compressed transaction and sent back to the main highway for final sentiment and settlement. So this drastically reduces congestion and fees on the main chain. So types of layer 2 solutions. Let's talk about rollups. So rollups are currently the most popular type of layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. So optimistic rollups. They optimistically assume all transactions are valid, and a fraud-proof period allows anyone to challenge a suspicious transaction. This offers high scalability, but with a withdrawal delay. Okay. And let's talk about zero knowledge, ZK rollups. They use cryptographic proofs to instantly prove the validity of all off-chain transactions. This offers immediate finality and stronger security, but it is more complex to implement. Okay. For example, StarkNet, for example. So types of layer 2 solutions, okay, others. So beyond rollups, other popular L2's approach exists with different trade-ups. Sidechains, independent parallel blockchains with their own consensus mechanisms. They are connected to layer 1 via a two-way bridge, okay? And they're highly scalable, but they may compromise on security, okay? As they do not inherit the layer 1 security, okay, the Polygon POS, for example. And state channels. They allow 2 or more users to transfer directly with each other off-chain, with only the final balance being settled on the main chain. They're ideal for high-frequency, low-value transactions, just like Bitcoin's Lightning Network, for example. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about layer 1 versus layer 2, the final comparison between the two. So layer 1, the foundation, it prioritizes security and decentralization. Once again, decentralization is going to be just a point to where there's no middleman involved in the cryptocurrency space. Okay, everything is done between all peer-to-peer transactions, but this decentralized network keeps everything safe, secure, okay, and make sure that all transactions are going to be able to be logged and checked out within a database, okay? So you can see if one person ended up getting their money, okay? And this way you can go ahead and check that by looking at confirmations and certain other things like that, okay? So confirmations are gonna go ahead and show that, okay, the person ended up receiving their money, okay? So both layers are gonna be essential for scalable and decentralized future, with layer 1 providing the trust and layer 2 providing utility and efficiency. So layer 1 is the foundation. Okay, prioritize security and decentralization, can be slow and expensive, but think of it as the secure, unchangeable ledger. And layer 2 is going to be the accelerator. It's built on top of layer 1 to solve the scalability problem. Okay, like again, the express highway. and it prioritizes speed and low cost, and thinking of it as the express lane once again for transactions. Okay, so that's going to be the difference between layer 1, layer 2 blockchains. Catch you guys in the next one. If you want to learn how to trade crypto, StackMODE on it. Step right up to God. Keep grinding. Catch you in the next one. Peace.